Hello again. I've just been chaperoning my avatar through the fashion show in Second Life, so please excuse me if it's looking like it's late and I'm tired. This might be true. I'm really sorry I can't be with you in the virtual flesh today. I've got a lot out of this event. It's been thought and it's been anxiety provoking. From my first coffee driven diatribe through George Siemens' keynote. Thank you, George, very much for that. To the community sessions, we've seen that community, identity, and policy are really closely related issues. We're engaged with the big things when we model and support change in higher education. Globalization, in the sense of connectedness, but also in the sense of a whole number of rhetorics, the internationalization of the curriculum, international competitiveness, and the knowledge economy. Neoliberalization, everything from student fees through degree awarding powers granted to McDonald's, to outsourcing IT infrastructure to Google or to Microsoft SharePoint providers. Innovation, which is usually interpreted as technical innovation, and in our field that's e-learning, but also embracing new ways of doing things. Flatter structures, social networks, communities of practice, peer assessment and evaluation. And finally, participation, which can mean widening participation, as it does in the UK higher education world. But it also could have to do with how the money economy is rolling over the non-money economy. Indian farmers, seed sharing schemes up against GM crops. The privatization of care relationships, and the burgeoning middle classes in the emerging economies. I don't think we can hide from this stuff. Identity and community are, for me, multifaceted, complex, and deeply interrelated, online and off. My experience online has led me towards what I've heard called a more fully achieved identity. Keeping the pieces apart has become difficult. And I feel my identity collapsing into a single whole which traverses, or perhaps absorbs, communities, revealing different facets, but also being less concerned about discovering or revealing others. I go around three positions. That of being really guarded at all times. You don't get in here. Cordon sanitaire. And being unconcerned. If you aren't guilty, you've got nothing to hide. And finally, longing for the third space. That space where the CCTV doesn't see. That space where the colonized plan their liberation. That space where the subordinate are equal to the dominant. I used to work for the oil industry. I was secretary of my local Labour Party. I wrote poetry, and I had a domestic life. I couldn't, or I wouldn't, tell the oil industry people about the Labour Party. I couldn't, or I wouldn't, tell the Labour Party about the oil industry. I couldn't, or I wouldn't tell either of those civic, public, professional spheres about poetry. And the domestic life just had a veil drawn over it. Technology had a part in resolving all of this. I started a personal website where I mixed politics and poetry. I started showing it to people at work. I changed jobs. Big grin. I still want to respect the privacy of the domestic, but I've started putting baby pictures on Flickr. And somehow, Graham got me reading poetry online at work. But anxiety remains about politics. You don't have to look too hard to find out what I think about the Child Trust Fund. Do I really want people to understand where I come from? I need a job. How hard will I bite the hand that feeds? Which lines do I toe, and which can I transgress safely in order to be truly, radically, other-centered, user-centered, learner-centered, student-centered, and get beyond the traditional identity politics of higher education? I'll leave you with that. I want to thank everybody who's made this week as stimulating as it's been. Josie Fraser for planning the whole thing, Paul Bailey for shaping it within a project, within a program, Stephen Warburton for giving it a radical twist, Graham Atwell for the audio, Joe Rosa for the platform and for the wisdom of the ages, Marion Samler and the alt team for control, Rona Sharp and Patsy Clark for the appreciative inquiry, Chris Fowler, Isabel Falconer, and the user engagement team, the keynote speakers, community sessions, Second Life Lovelies, Be Still My Heart, Mark for holding Illuminate together, the Dragons, and the people who went before the Dragons. To all of you who participated in the forums, chats, fashion show, and lurked deliciously with purpose. And finally, to the JISC Users and Innovation Program, its committee, director, manager, for making it all and for letting it all happen. I'll see you in June for another Users and Innovation, Emerge, Online, Community, Unconference, Open Space Technology. Use the blogs, use the network. Illuminate will be there for your meetings. See you somewhere, online, in the flesh, face to face, soon. Good night.